Hey guys, so I've been collecting plants a lot lately. I think it's partly because I just can't wait to get outside and my hands in the dirt. I'm so tired of winter. So I finally got a Staghorn fern, which is a plant that I've been wanting for a really long time, but they're kind of hard to find a nice one and they're pretty expensive. This is the one I got. It's a pretty good size. It actually was shipped here from California, and I didn't really know that you should get heat packs when you're shipping a plant, so I didn't ask for any, and some of the fronds got burnt from the cold. But overall, the plant looks pretty good. Staghorn ferns are really unique plants. In the wild, outside, they grow on the sides of trees. They're not parasitic, they don't hurt the host. They just attach themselves to it and grow, and they get very, very large. These are the fertile fronds, the long ones. And if you can see in here, these flat ones, there's another one over here. These are called the shield fronds. They'll turn brown, and a lot of people might think they're dead and want to pick them off, but don't, because they will protect your plant. So, a lot of people who have staghorns or elkhorn ferns, they're called, will mount them on a board. It's almost like a, like a piece of art. So today I'm going to mount my first staghorn. So what we'll need is moss, and I've had this soaking for a couple of hours. A board, any kind of board that you want. If you're handy and you can cut wood, yourself, you can do that. This one I got on eBay. It's like a live edge piece of wood. And then the tools I have are some wire, some picture hanging hooks. These are gutter screws, and I'll explain why I got gutter screws. I'm sure there's another kind of screw that would work. I needed something like with a big head that would hold the thread underneath it. And then my drill and drill bits. So the first thing we're going to do is attach the picture hangers to the back. I hope that these are going to hold. They don't look, well, they might. It's going to be sort of heavy. This board is about 3 pounds, and the plant's pretty heavy. So I'm hoping that it's going to be all right. Because I really don't want it to come crashing down. Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm gonna use both of them. It came in a 2-pack. Oh gosh, yeah, that's gonna be fine. Let's hope it's straight. Well, yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, oh yeah, that's super strong. So I put 2 of them on. It's probably overkill, but if this plant came falling down, I would be crying. So better safe than sorry. And I'm actually going to put something behind that because I don't want it to scratch my cupboard, my counter. Alright. So what we're going to do, you have to try to get an idea of how big your plant is. This is a 5-inch pot. You want to try to find a place on your board that looks good. So it's going to be hanging up, and the plant sticks out the front. If you've never seen a mounted staghorn before, definitely Google it and get an idea of what you want. It's going to eventually hang down as the fronds get bigger. So I'm going to hang it a little bit towards the top instead of right in the middle. That looks about good. And once you get a spot that you like, just make a few marks around the outside of your pot. I'm going to go out maybe, I'm going to go out about an inch, I'd say, from the pot. I'll probably do about maybe 5 spots where the screws are going to go. All right. Hopefully they'll be big enough. This is my very first attempt, so hopefully it'll work out okay. So now we're going to make some pilot holes. These screws are 1/2 inch. So essentially what you're going to be doing is making kind of a nest for your plant to be on, because since these normally mount on trees, they're considered air plants and their roots do not go into soil. So you want to create, this is your tree, and you want to create a mass for the root ball so everything stays within it on the wall without, you know, anything falling out of it, and it gives the roots a nice place to attach to. That's why we're using the sphagnum moss. That will hold all of the dirt in, and it will help keep the plants moist. Okay, this one looks good. So when we drill our holes, you don't want to drill all the way through the board, just a little bit. These screws that I have are really, really short. See that? So I'm just really going to drill just a tiny bit in. Some people put tape on here, which is a really clever idea, but I don't have any, so I can't do it. That's enough, I think. They're really short screws. And of course, you can do as many as you'd like. I think 5 will be sufficient. Because all we're going to do is we're going to put our fern on a little bit of really good potting soil, just enough to help it anchor. And then we're going to pack it really tight with the moss. And then we're going to take the wire and we're going to wrap it around and around to attach it to the board, and that's it. So when you do your screws, I wonder if I can, hold on, let me see if I can get a little more light. A little bit. You're not going to want to go all the way into the board because you want to be able to wrap the wire around it. Oh, that's perfect. Yay! Don't you love it when a plan works? I know I do. It's rare. These are also, I was really happy when I saw these because when I was researching it, they were like, make sure you don't get a screw that has like the rounded end on it, that the string, some people use fishing line, some people use twine. You don't want it to slip right off. So you want to find a screw that has like a lip on it or like a flat head on it. And I don't know the difference between different screws. So I went to Home Depot, I saw these, I was like, that's perfect. And not only is the perfect shape, they're also like a bronze color and they totally blend into the wood. In case see that? Looks good. All right, so there's that. Let's get our, this is galvanized steel wire, 28 gauge. So it's really, really thin, and I think it'll be perfect. You're not going to want to use twine because when you water these, during like the summer and really warm months, you're going to water them maybe once a week, and most people submerge them right in a bucket or a tub to get past these shield fronds and into the root ball, a really good soaking. And it's hanging on the wall, so you don't really want to dump water on it. So, yeah, I think this will work out really well. You have to keep that in mind too when you're choosing your board. Like, don't choose a soft wood like pine, because eventually it's going to get nasty and warped. Cedar is your best. This is, I can't remember what this is. I can't remember. Alright, so I have this really good soil that I use, Fox Farm. So we are just going to start by taking a little bit of this potting soil and putting it right there. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. This is kind of a messy project. If I had my greenhouse, I'd be doing it out there, but until then, it's the kitchen. Alright, now, we're going to take this guy out. See if these unclip. I'm just going to cut it. I'm not going to use it again anyway. Be careful with your little guy. Sorry, it's Frenchy time. Okay, so here is our plant. And what we're going to do, since this is going to be laying on the board flat, and it's going to be like pointing out this way, you want to take this root ball and separate it as much as you can without injuring the plant and make it as flat as possible so the roots kind of go out across the board. It's a little bit tricky because when you mount these, you want to make sure they're mounted the correct way. This one has at least 3 shield fronds on it. There's one here. There's one right here. And there's another one on this side. If you look down towards the center of the shield fronds, you're going to see small fronds, the fertile fronds, and they're going to be growing up. Now, that's how you know which way is up for the plant. They're going to be growing up. So, I'm going to say that this is up. So, you're going to gently start to loosen up the root ball, and you can knock off as much soil as you need to. I'm just going to let it go on my counter. Of course, you know, anytime you're ripping into the roots of a plant, it's going to do some shock to the plant, but they're pretty resilient, so they should be fine and bounce back. You don't need all of this soil. Boy, this one's really packed in. Holy cow. Just work it slowly. Flatten it out as you go. shake off excess dirt as you're doing it, because you don't need all that in there. You can see how we're flattening it out. You really want to get it as flat as you can. I mean, you don't have to. I guess it depends. You know, to me it's more aesthetically pleasing the closer it is to the board. You don't have to be in a hurry. Just do your best. To get rid of some of that soil without ripping up too much of the root. Okay, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right on there. Like I said, make sure you've got the right end facing up. I definitely could have made my holes a little further apart.
Resident Evil Village, the Resident Evil Fire.
Okay, so that is on there good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take some of the moss that you have soaking and wring it out really good. And we are going to pack it all around the root ball.